Hello, we are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. As Trump returns to office, LGBTQ groups unite, pledging to safeguard rights and equality, drawing strength from past activism and celebrating ongoing victories.
NMAC's new campaign amplifies Black women voices on HIV, aiming to reduce stigma and prioritize racial health equity in affected communities.
In breaking news, Pridelines secures a $300,000 grant to expand HIV prevention efforts. It is launching new programs focused on Latinx LGBTQ across Miami-Dade County.
Carlos Guillermo Smith, Florida's first gay Latino senator, wins unopposed. Queer News Tonight shares his exclusive post-victory interview on LGBTQ advocacy and future plans.
Out adult actor Devin Franco shocks fans by endorsing Trump. Fans are angry about his alignment with the MAGA movement. Wait, he was not the only porn star to do so. Good evening, all. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily evening television news broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels. We are proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company ViiV, and we now have more than 10 million views on the only daily live queer news show in the world. We are proud that we have more than 1,000 new subscribers in October and that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida. Over 500,000 of you have watched this show in the last 60 days. We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in our community. It's Thursday, November 7th, 2024, and we are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we are going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ evening news show. Whatever happens, unique in LGBTQ news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community. Our mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of LGBTQ experience and our television news, talk, and entertainment. Shows support our mission to educate the LGBT community and the broader community.
Now let's meet tonight's anchors here at Queer News Tonight. Let's begin by welcoming Gregg Shapiro, an inductee, into the Chicago LGBTQ Hall of Fame. Gregg, my buddy, is the author of 2 short story collections and 7 books of poetry. He's an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and reviews run in a variety of print and online publications. And rumor has it, you did another really cool one recently.
I did. I interviewed the one, the only lesbian diva and actress, Leah Delaria. Leah is going to be performing in Fort Lauderdale with the South Florida Pride Concert Band on November 9th. You can get more information about that at southfloridapridebands.org. And she is a hoot. I mean, everybody's seen her on Orange is the New Black, and she's been in, she even starred with Andy Griffith in Matlock, whatever show he had.
Wow.
It was Matlock. She was on that show. She's done cartoon voiceovers. She's a genius. She's funny. She's a filthy mouth like me, and got a great singer. Great singer.
I can't wait. That sounds awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Gregg. And now let's meet Vaughn Biggs, a trailblazing advocate for health equity and HIV treatment. And as a community outreach coordinator at Holy Cross Health, he leads initiatives for the LGBTQ community and people living with HIV. His roles as vice chair of the Ryan White Part A Planning Council and founding board member of TransEd _, his dedication and inclusivity for systemic change. Vaughn, Holy Cross Health, will be honored at Equality Florida's 2024 Broward Gala. That means, for the Equality Means Business Award, I heard.
Yes.
It's happening November 9th at Westin Resort Convention Center. Tell us what's going on.
That's right. This weekend. I mean, we've got another gala. We're in gala season.
We're in gala season.
Come on, let's get ready, right? It's a great honor to receive this.
Yes,
we've talked about it. It's very interesting. I was thinking about it this morning, actually, when I think back to the history of Holy Cross, and I'm thinking of like Catherine McCauley and the Sisters of Mercy, and we're talking December 12th, 18. I'll make sure I read that right. 18. I can't read. 1831. There we go. Yeah. So what's happened with this is we are just following in the footsteps of the legacy of what they created. And it's not that it's a trophy for us at all. It just shows that the work has continued. And we're still building that legacy. So we're very excited to be there. So see everybody there at 6 o'clock. And it's, what is it? It's another disco theme.
Who doesn't love a disco theme?
Right. 54. Studio 54. So.
Well, congratulations. Thank you for all the work you're doing.
Thank you.
For all of us.
Appreciate it.
And you better dance.
And you better dance. Let's now welcome anchor Buddy Frey, a longtime South Florida resident. He supports many of our local nonprofit organizations like Julian's Fountain of Youth and the Stonewall National Library, Museum, and Archives. The Stonewall National Museum and Archives and Library will be opening, I heard, its latest exhibition, November 15th, which is like tomorrow, oh my God, titled Beyond Borders, and that's presented by the Black Lesbian Archives. Tell us what's going on.
Yes, the Stonewall has been working diligently on trying to be inclusive with all the different communities that make up our wonderful community, and they have an exhibition called Beyond Borders, Black Lesbian Archives. So it apparently is a show that's going to be discussing the inclusivity and the grassroots history of the Black lesbians working together and reaching out to the rest of us.
That's great. The solidarity building, the community building, and thinking about like how borders, beyond just kind of our own organizations, but intersectionally, like this is going to be really great. Thank you.
And it's important that we talk about all the different layers of our community.
Absolutely. We need more of it.
It's even more important that the community support the Stonewall and celebrate how lucky we are to have a national museum and archives of this caliber.
Especially in this moment.
Yes.
Thank you, Buddy. And now let's welcome the owner of Tidal ViiV, Danny Gallegos. Danny is a clinical architect at Phillip Healthcare with nearly 3 decades of expertise. Based in Phoenix, Arizona, Danny shares both life and business with his husband and partner, David Walters. I love that. Together, they've run Tidal ViiV LLC for 17 years, blending their professional strengths to drive this successful venture. Danny, let's talk a little bit about Tidal ViiV, one of the biggest bear gatherings in America. What is Tidal ViiV, and how did it start?
So it started out 17 years ago. I was a DJ since 1977, and we used to go down to this party called Beach Ball. And everybody would come out of the water from Typhoon Lagoon and say, "Where's all the bears?" And I'd be like, "Well, I don't know. I'm here to listen to the DJs, right? And to see what they were playing." Well, my business partner at the time, David, I said, let's start this event, And he said, "Well, we can't compete against something like Typhoon Lagoon." And I said, "Well, let's do our own." So we did. And it started out with 325 guests. Wow. And this year in Palm Springs, we had 2010 from 14 countries.
Wow.
And we pride ourselves in making this a safe environment for every walk of life. So whether you're a small person or a large person, it's their weekend to shine. And we have a lot of parties. We rent out 2 hotels. So we're looking forward to having the event again next year in Palm Springs.
Oh, I love everything about that.
So it's important for us, you
Yeah.
know? We want to make sure that everybody is safe and having a good time. So
We need more of this.
How did you come up with the name for it, Tidal Wave?
well, Tidal Wave, we used to rent out Wet and Wild in Orlando.
Oh, so the kind of
And so we rented out Wet and Wild, and then when Universal purchased, they closed it down because they were going to build Volcano Bay. So we had no home for 2 years, and so we had RuPaul's Drag Race drag queens come. So we had Alaska, Bob the Drag Queen, Ginger Minge. We had Jinx Monsoon come and perform. We even had Martha Wash come and perform at Training Men with Ginger Minge.
Oh my goodness.
So, and we used to buy out the hotel in Orlando, and then when we couldn't buy out the hotel again, we decided let's look at other options, and we ended up landing in Palm Springs. So we're really excited.
Check it out, y'all. Check out Tidal
Yeah,
Wave.
most definitely.
And of course, this is tonight's lead anchor, Dr. Julio Capo Jr. He is a board member of the Stonewall National Museum and Archives and Library. And he's a history professor at Florida International University and the author of the book, Welcome to Fairyland, Queer Miami Before 1940. Good evening, Julio.
Hello. So good to see everyone. I love this group so much already. And in just considering like we are in somber times and yet we find joy in these kind of moments that I just also want to celebrate being in community with you all. That being said, we are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for Thursday, November 7th, 2024. First, this evening, let's queer up the USA view. 70 LGBTQ organizations sign day after election manifesto. As election results confirm Donald Trump's return to office, LGBTQ organizations across the nation are rallying together to prepare for what many fear will be a challenging and discriminatory era. In response, 70 LGBTQ advocacy groups have issued a unified statement vowing to continue the fight for equality, safety, and acceptance. It says, and I quote, "Our LGBTQIA Two-Spirit Plus community has risen again and again to meet moments that have challenged our rights, our humanity, and our freedom. Today is no different. From the early days of the Mattachine Society and Daughters of Bilitis, to the Stonewall Uprising and HIV/AIDS activism, to achieving marriage equality and anti-discrimination protections in the workplace, to the fight for transgender rights, and beyond, we march on," end quote. The organization emphasized then their unity despite the challenges ahead. We've got this, they said. They reflect on the progress made, such as the election of Representative Sarah McBride, the first openly transgender person in U.S. Congress, and the continued strides towards securing rights for queer individuals and families. The statement also highlights the victories in states like California, Colorado, and Hawaii, which have cemented the freedom to marry for same-sex couples. The LGBTQ groups also celebrate the tireless work of their volunteers who have worked to educate and engage voters through calls, through texts, and door-to-door efforts. These actions have helped ensure that queer families, freedoms, and futures remain a priority. The groups remain resolute in their dedication to creating a society where every queer person can live authentically and without fear. The statement is signed by a coalition of organizations including the National LGBTQ Task Force, GLAAD, Lambda Legal, the Trevor Project, and many others. Here at Queer News Tonight, we aim to contribute to the progress of the community by creating awareness and keeping you updated on every development that matters to you. That's a lot to consider there, and I love the statement. That is, in these kind of dark moments, and as I like the way the statement framed it, we've been here before and we've survived, but I also want to note, and I don't want to be like kind of Debbie Downer here, not everyone did. And I think it's important in this process to honor those people as well, and part of the commitment we have to make to ourselves is to make sure that we stay committed to this fight, because We've been here before. It's there's a lot to celebrate, but there's a lot of work to do. So in these kind of dark moments, I want to celebrate those victories, no doubt, but also keep a clear head of all the work that's ahead. And it's so hard when we're so exhausted and there's just so much we know is coming, but also.
And it's a ray of hope during this dark time. And it's also good to see Equality Florida on that list.
Yeah.
I
love that.
But it's important, and I think in our history we've had our moments like the last week, and if we've failed, it's because we haven't communicated well.
Right.
We haven't communicated amongst ourselves as a community, whether it be myself being older to some of these younger generations that are coming in. We haven't communicated well between the trans community and our community. I mean, there's so many slices to the onion of the gay community, and I don't think that we've made our best effort. And this whole message is talking about that, and this production that we're standing on right now, talking here, blasting out to the universe. It's vitally important that we support this institution so that we can talk about the world at large, and we can share and say, Stonewall, what do you have? Tidal Wave, what do you have? Holy Cross, what do you have? And everybody come to the center of the table so that we all win.
Right.
So that's where we have to work the hardest on.
And that's been part of the issues we've had within our own communities too.
Yes.
We have our walls built up.
That's
We've separated ourselves. That's why we have our own flags for every letter of the alphabet. We do.
And we have every alphabet.
Right. And so it's great to see organizations come together and unify, because you know what?
Sure.
That's going to teach us to let our walls down. The only way we're going to fight this and win this is when we can do that together.
Well said.
Yeah.
Exactly. You mentioned the 70 groups. Let's make it 100.
Yeah.
You mentioned the onion. Let's peel back each layer of that onion and say, all right, guys, this is the core. Let's build on the core.
I mean, I think we got spoiled because we've had so much success over the last generations. I mean, I remember being back in the 80s, starting with the AIDS organizations, having to build them up by brick and penny by dollar,
Right.
We're back at that stage.
Right,
folks.
complacency was our enemy during that.
More solidarity, more togetherness.
And we have to teach the younger generation of what has happened, because they haven't gone through a crisis.
No.
That's right. That's
Well,
right.
And this is a crisis.
They've had a crisis. But it's I mean, we're in one, right?
Well,
like,
this is their-
and they
we're
can't
in
find
one.
This
jobs.
is their
and they can't
crisis,
find-
yeah.
Well, but I'm
Right.
just saying, as a gay community, we've gotten through the AIDS where now it's not as traumatic
Right.
as it used to be.
There's no horror with the
Exactly.
AIDS movement,
And
right?
the younger generations are so used to walking around just saying, hey, I'm here, I'm queer, and be proud. And I'm like, congratulations, but welcome to your crisis.
Well, and know your history too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to walking around just saying, hey, I'm here, I'm queer, and be proud. And I'm like, congratulations, but welcome to your crisis.
Well, and know your history too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
no, they
The
don't.
history is what we need to educate them on. So that way they know why they can walk around and say, we're here, we're queer.
So speaking of history, next, let's queer up health. NMAC launches Fuck Fear, Be Free campaign to empower Black women in HIV conversations. The National Minority AIDS Council, NMAC, has launched its powerful new initiative, Fuck Fear, Be Free, aimed at driving critical HIV conversations within Black women's communities and reducing the stigma around it. This fall 2024 campaign seeks to address the higher rates of HIV diagnoses among both cis and trans Black women, who represent half of all new HIV cases among women in the United States. As part of its mission to prioritize racial equity in health, NMAC's Coalition for Justice and Equality Across Movements is amplifying Black women's voices by ensuring HIV discussions are happening where they are often been excluded. The campaign's goals are to normalize sexual health and freedom. It aims to destigmatize HIV by encouraging individuals to know their status, as it is a key step toward prevention or treatment. According to Toni Newman, director of the coalition, she quotes, HIV does not exist in a vacuum. We created the Coalition for Justice and Equality Across Movements to build intersectionality partnerships that extend HIV conversations and collectively advance policies for communities of color who are most impacted. Designing the Fuck Fear, Be Free campaign to include HIV and Black women's whole health approach is a perfect extension to the coalition's goal. We are working with several of our partners to extend the reach of the Fuck Fear, Be Free campaign as we launch today, end quote. Launched on October 31st on NMAC social media platforms, Fuck Fear, Be Free is actively forming partnerships with organizations to expand its reach. This effort reflects NMAC's 37-year history of addressing health disparities through a racial justice lens. For more information on the campaign and how to partner, visit nmac.org.
Black, cis, and trans women account for at least 60% of new HIV cases among women.
What is missing in the conversation of HIV awareness? The conversation is missing in general.
The advice I would give to Black women about finding out their HIV status is let go of stigmas and take somebody with you so they too can find out their status.
It's very important to know about your health, sexual health, physical health, your emotional health. In my opinion, all that kind of comes from the same place.
Take control and feel empowered, and always inform yourself to what resources are available to you.
You can't fix what you don't know.
It's about encouraging Black women to live their best lives, embrace their sexuality, and remind them to get tested for HIV.
Do it for you. Do it for your partner. As long as we are loving ourselves, we should keep ourselves safe.
Because I'm not telling you not to have a good life. Enjoy yourself. Just be smart while doing it so that you can continue to do it for as long as you can.
I just love this. I mean,
Great.
I've been involved with NMAC for a number of years now, and was just recently there in New Orleans for the conference that they had there, and it's just amazing. I was able to talk with Tony Newman there as well, and you know, we talk in groups, and especially in South Florida, about the disparities of healthcare and the rise in HIV, specifically in Black women and transgender Black women, and it's important to note we're always saying, how do we reach them? How do we get to those communities?
Sure.
And when I saw this ad come out, I was like, finally, somebody's doing something. You know, and I just feel like if there's organizations out there that are struggling to find the individuals like this to reach out to, and they work in the HIV field, partner with NMAC, get this information, get the media packs, put it out, blast it all over social media, put it in your newspapers, whatever, but get the news out.
I love that.
An extremely necessary campaign, and what a great slogan, have a good life, but be smart.
Yeah, be smart.
That's it.
That's important.
For sure.
Yeah, that's so important.
It's a sex positive, you know, and it embraces, you know, all parts of our lives, like the happiness and the joy, and then also also telling us the ways that we can, you know, be careful. Like that is like I love the focus on the sex positivity of it all. Like it's such a beautiful message and necessary message.
Right.
Yeah.
Next, let's clear up breaking news. Pridelines secures $300,000 grant from ViiV Healthcare for HIV programs and creation of Warrior 2. In breaking news, Pridelines, Miami's LGBTQ community center, told Queer News Tonight that they received a $300,000 three-year grant from ViiV Healthcare to expand its efforts in stopping the spread of HIV/AIDS. The grant, awarded through ViiV Healthcare's Positive Action for Latinx Men initiative, will enable Pridelines to introduce new programs, including the launch of Warrior 2 in Spanish, an expansion of the HALO Awards, and other key initiatives aimed at HIV/AIDS prevention and care. Dr. Edward Summers, Executive Director of Pridelines, expressed his thoughts after receiving the grant, saying, quote, "We are deeply grateful for ViiV's significant commitment to Pridelines and the communities we serve. This grant is a testament to the impact of our work and our dedication to combating HIV/AIDS through inclusive and culturally responsive programming," end quote. This announcement highlights a monumental year for Pridelines, which also received a 2-year grant from Miami Homes for All to establish the first publicly funded LGBTQ housing initiative in Miami-Dade County. In 2024, Pridelines expanded to 4 locations, increased staff by 300%, and saw a 300% rise in community engagement. The support from ViiV Healthcare will further enable Pridelines to strengthen its HIV/AIDS prevention and care programs and continue its mission to improve queer health and wellness across Miami-Dade County. Finally, some more good news. We need more good news, and congratulations to Pridelines, as well as Queer News Tonight anchor and executive director of Pridelines, Dr. Edward Summers. A job well done.
Yeah, that's amazing. 300%. Wow. That's incredible.
What Pridelines is doing has been transformative. I mean, like, and like you said, to our good friend here at Queer News Tonight, to Dr. Summers, you are just killing it. Like, that is like providing so much space for folks to thrive, to be themselves. This kind of message. I also love this message today, that there's a lot of positive stuff that's coming out. And our focus on it needs to, we need to do more of that.
You know, it's shown since he's taken on that role there, how much they've done. And when you hear people talking about that they're not really growing or they're not doing much, you know, follow some leaders' footsteps, you know, if in your organization, touch base with them and say, what can I do in my community to do what you're doing? And hopefully, you know, and I know, you know, Dr. Summers, and he's obviously more than willing to lead and teach people how it's done.
Right.
It's not the issue. There's plenty to go around for everybody. So
there's a lot of work to be done.
Yes.
Well, next, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. New Out Florida Senator speaks. First to Queer News Tonight. The 2024 general election brought a wave of setbacks for many Democrats across the U.S., culminating in former President Donald Trump securing another 4 years in the White House. However, in Florida, despite this challenge, the LGBTQ community saw significant victories, with key allies winning crucial seats. Carlos Guillermo Smith won his District 17th Senate seat. Smith, who previously served as a state House representative, becomes the first out Latino state senator. This victory makes him only the second openly gay senator in Florida's history, following in the footsteps of Senator Chevron Jones, who made history in 2020. Smith is a vocal advocate for LGBTQ rights and has been challenging Governor Ron DeSantis' attack on LGBTQ youth. Queer News Tonight executive producer had an exclusive first interview. In this interview, Smith talked about the importance of his historic election. Quote, "My heart is full of gratitude for my community for entrusting me to serve as their state senator. Our election was a rejection of transactional politics that put profits over people and a mandate to tackle the real problems facing our state. The significance of our election for Florida's LGBT community, who have been relentlessly attacked and demonized by the majority party in this legislature, is not lost on me, and despite the disappointing election results overall, Florida voters expanded queer representation in the State House and Senate, and we must continue to demand a seat at the table." An interesting part of the interview was Smith talking to those who lost, and he said, "To all the LGBTQ candidates who ran for office this year and didn't make it over the finish line, don't give up. Don't get discouraged. I didn't after my 2022 re-election loss, and now I'm heading to the Florida Senate to fight for us all." Smith finished by addressing the Florida LGBTQ community directly to provide some understanding and comfort of what the community faced on Tuesday. And he said again, "I know that many in our community are disappointed and frankly terrified of what a second Trump presidency could mean for their fundamental rights and freedoms. The road ahead may not be easy, but we have faced adversity before. We persevered and took care of one another. Our fight for freedom and equality will continue, and we the people will remain the guardrails of our own democracy." Strong and encouraging words. I mean, I'm excited about the eloquency of what he stated, but it's true. We have to take care of ourselves, and we have to find the energy and the intelligence and the strength and the humanity and the compassion in every positive word you can think of, and we have to reach out to each other and support ourselves, but we have to also reach out and we have to do a better job with advocacy. We have to reach across that line as often as much as we can, and even to those who don't understand or agree with us, we still have to figure out a way to communicate.
Right.
Does anybody else get like hives and itchy when they hear Trump and White House in the same sentence? I can't, for my lungs, I can't. But this is more good news. Let it keep coming. Congratulations and best of luck to Carlos Guillermo Smith, for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When you look at it and you take 4 steps back, we're going to take 6 steps forward. Yeah. Even though we may stumble on those 6 steps, we're still going to be moving forward.
I want a mile.
Yeah.
To be fair, in Florida, to find a glimmer of hope, because after Tuesday, there was very little to look after, the defeat of Amendment 4, the Rick Scott, there was just so much to not. And I love the framing of this, to find more representation. And when there's so little to kind of grasp on, we have to find something that we can. And Carlos Guillermo Smith has been, I've been following his career for many years. He's doing incredible work. Like Chef Jones before, and still there, really an advocate for the community. Really, he's always visible. He's always present. He responds to the needs of our community. He doesn't back down. And I am so grateful for them both. And I love the way the story kind of saw this as a line of people who are kind of coming together, because I see more coming. That is I love this idea of run, that's the way we make change.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think it's important to think we start today. We don't wait 2 years from today to start thinking about what are we going to do, what is it going to be. Right. Start today. Let's start.
Start yesterday.
True. But yeah,
thanks all. Next, let's queer up politics. Gay adult film star Devin Franco is out as a Trump supporter, and he is not alone. In a shocking revelation just days before the election, gay adult film star Devin Franco came out as a supporter of Donald Trump. Franco, who has been a prominent figure in the adult film industry since 2017, took to Twitter to announce his alignment with the MAGA movement. Jordan Bach had shared a post saying, quote, "I'm a gay guy who's left the left. A lifelong Democrat, not anymore. I'm voting for Donald Trump. I used to think that voting Democrat was the compassionate choice, but today's Democratic Party, it's become a war-hungry censorship machine, cynically using identity politics and media manipulation to divide us," end quote. Franco shared the post and said, 100% agree, end quote. Franco, whose real name is Jesse Tanner Morris, doubled down on his position when fans expressed their disappointment. In one exchange, Franco fired back, saying, quote, trying to do everything within your meager power to have a negative impact on my livelihood is fascism, end quote. He accused angry fans of trying to undermine his livelihood just because he has different political views. Despite the backlash, Franco's declaration certainly highlights a surprising trend of gay men supporting Trump. He is not the first gay adult film star to back the Republican nominee. The list also includes names like Alex Grant and Ricky Larkin, and at least 10 more. Queer News Tonight executive producer Al Ferguson spoke to Fab Scout's Howard Andrew about the conservative trend among gay porn stars. Andrew is one of the best-known producers and talent coordinators in gay adult entertainment. When asked about the number of gay porn stars supporting Trump, Andrew said, quote, "There are a lot of porn stars supporting Trump. I really don't have the reasons, but they are flat earthers, conspiracy theorists, etc. Some say it has to do with Kamala's past support of Sesta Fosta. I just don't get it," end quote. When Andrew was asked if this was a trend, he said, quote, "More each day. It's very scary. There are a lot of people that don't understand. This will, for sure, hurt us all," end quote. Finally, Andrew was asked if this trend of gay porn stars supporting Trump and other radical conservative causes. He said, "Oh yes, there are also prominent people, bar owners, etc. It's very scary," end quote. It is a voting bloc that is a surprise to some. Gay porn stars for Trump. I always sound so cynical, and I always have to catch myself to not sound just like Debbie, whatever. I also don't find this so surprising. I hate that hurts me to say, but I think that there is often a kind of split, and that there's sometimes people don't. They feel so detached, and they can become so detached from the everyday lives that queer folks experience. And once you reach a certain class status or reach a certain kind of level, you almost kind of, not to say that that's always happening, but that there is a kind of trend. And this is horrifying. right? And like it's not new, right? Like, I mean, what do we make of log cabin Republicans, or like there's a movement here that has long since existed. And I think it's kind of to your point earlier, Buddy, right? Like, you know, we have to do a better job communicating how we are in this together, right? That if one of us falls, we all fall. And like, it's so easy for folks to read this as such an individualistic thing, right? And yet horrifying all across the board.
But I also have to ask, because I mean, I'm stumbling here because this gentleman, because I don't know who he is.
I don't know him either.
Yeah.
I don't know her.
First of all, who the F cares? He does porn. It's not like he's, you know, somebody of educated status, because
well, that's not true. He could be.
Well, he's proving no. He's proving how bad his education is, because he's not understanding the term fascist.
Well, for sure. No, his use of the word but that's what democracy is, to be able to criticize. But like, I mean,
you know, I'm not saying he doesn't have the right to criticize, but I mean, to make such a wave. Who the hell cares? He's a porn star,
Right.
I'm thinking it might be Popper's damage. And maybe someone should cut off his Viagra prescription. I mean, that might make it hard for him to find work. And also, I was just thinking that Bach and Franco might be able to bunk together in the concentration camp after they've rounded us up.
You know, the fact that this man is making waves because he's a porn star. In South Florida, everybody's a porn star for 20 minutes, it seems.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's also, you know, this is what Andy Warhol always said. Everyone's going to have 5 minutes of fame.
15.
15 minutes. Well, he's had 17.
He's 2 minutes too long.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, you know, I get it. He has the right to express what he says. I get it. But it's like a Kardashian. I don't care.
And we have our right to not support him, right? Like, that is like,
right.
like, let's stop watching this.
Right. Yeah.
And like, that is talk about like hurting his livelihood. We don't want to support, you know, people who are not embracing of our community.
And it also points out to people, you know, years past growing up, businesses stayed pretty neutral in politics.
Mm-hmm.
You open your mouth and you offend somebody politically, you run the risk of damaging your business. So bar owners, you're going to open your mouth and say, I'm a Trump supporter, then you can't sit here and cry when nobody shows up at the door.
Right.
Yep.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
Minute News.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Fort Lauderdale's out mayor and out vice mayor discussed the future of the city. In Fort Lauderdale's latest election cycle, 3 incumbents won their seats back. Dean Trentalis, Fort Lauderdale's out mayor, secured a 3rd and final term, while John Herbst and Steve Glassman retained their District 1 and 2 commission seats. Ben Sorensen, a former commissioner, replaced incumbent Warren Sturman for District 4. Mayor Trentalis shared that the new commission will take office in December, and in January we will set our priorities. Talking about his vision for the city's future, He mentioned the key goals that include planning a new city hall to replace the one damaged in 2023's record rainfall and enhancing infrastructure to tackle flooding and improve the waterway conditions. Additionally, Trentalis plans to address the homelessness crisis, adding that the commission supports a tunnel crossing over the bridge for the New River Commuter Rail project. Our Vice Mayor, Steve Glassman, also echoed Trentalis' focus on infrastructure and housing, adding, quote, "We need to address infrastructure and flooding and traffic. Those priorities will not change. Those priorities are not going to go away. We just have to keep going and keep making progress. We've always had homelessness and housing affordability as a priority," end quote. Both leaders looked forward prioritizing growth while maintaining Fort Lauderdale's unique charm. I'm all here for it. My only concern is, we're seeing a lot of changes with property taxes, and what they're doing is they're zoning them as flood areas. Right. And what I'm hearing is these homeowners are getting outrageous bills for their insurance. And it's like, how can they continue to do that?
We're living proof. For sure.
It's unsustainable.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that those are the two things that they're largely going to focus on because they affect everybody,
Yes.
right? 100%, whether it's infrastructure or affordable housing. And I mean, there's a little bit of rain and we flood.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, at least 2 of the 3 politicians on my yard signs won their elections. That makes me feel a little bit better. Call me. LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. Fans are swooning over Darren Criss wearing fuchsia skirt at CFDA Awards. Glee star Darren Criss made a memorable splash at the Council of Fashion Designers of America Fashion Awards, redefining menswear. The 37-year-old actor dazzled in a fuchsia tulle skirt adorned with floral details and paired it with a cropped black tuxedo jacket that left his chest and abs on full display. Criss posed with designer Christian Siriano, who created his standout look. Siriano told Entertainment Tonight, quote, "It's CFDA, it's fashion, it's celebrating designers and artists and craft, and yeah, we just wanted to have fun," end quote. Criss himself was equally enthusiastic. He said the skirt made him feel, quote, "like an effing superhero," end quote. After watching the duo on the red carpet, gay Twitter lit up with support, lauding Criss's bold, gender-fluid style as a win for breaking traditional fashion norms. Looking good, Darren. To be fair, Harry Styles beat you to it by just a couple of years.
Billy Porter.
Billy Porter.
Okay, but come on. He's, 20-something, 30-something? He's got a perfect body.
Right.
Well,
let him build it for me. Let's see what happens.
If I'm not mistaken, unless there's an update, he came out as straight a few years ago. Yeah. So in some ways, this is allyship.
Right. We'll take it.
We'll take it. And he looks amazing. And I love Christian Siriano.
Yeah,
I think he's fabulous.
He is fabulous.
Yeah.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up drag culture. A drag queen Christmas celebrates 10 years at the Fillmore, Miami Beach on December 29th. This holiday season marks the 10th anniversary of Murray and Peter presents a Drag Queen Christmas. On the occasion, a fabulous lineup of RuPaul's Drag Race stars is coming together to spread holiday cheer across North America. Hosted by 2024 Out 100 honoree Nina West, the tour's dynamic cast includes icons like Sasha Colby, Angeria Paris Van Michaels, Jimbo, Safira Cristal, Plain Jane, Plasma, Roxy Andrews, Brooklyn Heights, Lady Camden, and Crystal Method. Beginning November 13 in Detroit, it will run through December 29th in Miami Beach. The tour will make stops in 39 U.S. cities with additional dates set for Canada in December. This 2-hour show is designed exclusively for an 18 and over audience, and tickets range from $45 to $299, with premium VIP seats available for those ready to experience the glamour up close. Further information is available on dragfans.com. This excites me. I can't wait to see this. I love all of those queens. I love Sasha Colby. I love Angeria. I love Jimbo. I mean, this is a that's a great Brooklyn Heights. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. And it's Christmas.
And it's Christmas, so there's going to be candy canes and ho-ho-hos.
Right.
They're putting the Merry back in the
Peppermint
Merry
Twist.
Christmas.
Come on, y'all. We could do better puns.
There's lots of ho.
There's lots of hoeing around,
Yes.
allegedly.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up travel. Exclusive Tidal Wave MSC Cruise Tour by Travel Club starts at $799. The Travel Club's upcoming adventure, the Tidal Wave MSC World America Cruise Tour, is an 8-day journey beginning November 8th next year, 2025, from just $799. It is a unique experience aboard the brand new MSC World America, packed with thrilling highlights. Travelers can also enjoy a 2-day Wilton Manor pre-tour for just $99, featuring first-class accommodations, pier transfers, a Tidal Wave dinner and pub crawl, and entry to the Tidal Wave party. The party starts on June 18th and continues through June 22nd. Let us ask the owner of Tidal Wave for more details about the party and this amazing cruise tour. Danny, please spill the beans. Tell us more.
So we're really excited to introduce this cruise, especially coming out of Miami. A lot of the times we get the East Coasters saying, I wish you would bring Tidal Wave back. And so now we're going to have a floating Tidal Wave cruise. So we're really excited about that. And the port of calls are Roatan. We're going to Cozumel, Costa Maya, the MSC private island of Ocean Cay.
Nice.
And you can get more information at happeningouttravel.com or tidalwaveparty.com. So we're super excited of having all the East Coasters come and party with us here.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're super excited. And the nice thing about it too, it's going to benefit both of our sponsorships. We have No Kid Hungry, because the bears like to eat, number one.
Right.
And number two, the AIDS life cycle. So
Nice.
we were fortunate this year to be able to write 2 checks to both of those.
That's
so
awesome.
we're hoping to keep that momentum up and to spread it out even further. So we're super excited. Thank
It
you.
sounds too like, so before the cruise itself, there's some stuff going on, so folks can get to see.
So absolutely. So those people who haven't been to Wilton Manors and into Fort Lauderdale will be able to party the night before and then be transferred down and whisked away to get onto the boat. So we're really
Sign
excited.
us up.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Sounds like fun.
So we're super excited about it.
That's great. Okay, LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up politics. Trans Representative Zoe Seffer wins re-election and rejoins Montana House. Montana State Representative Zoe Seffer, an openly transgender Democrat, has won her re-election, marking her return to the House floor nearly 2 years after Republicans sanctioned her. Seffer, who represents Missoula's majority Democratic district, defeated Republican Barbara Starmer. She posted on social media, quote, It is an honor to have been reelected and pledging to fight for my constituents and be a bulwark against the rising tide of American fascism, end quote. Republicans banned Seffer from speaking in 2023 following her outspoken stance against banning youth gender-affirming care. Now with full legislative privileges reinstated, Seffer is set to resume her advocacy in the upcoming session. You know, I had to go back and watch originally what happened several years ago because I kind of remembered, but it wasn't sure. And all I can think of is, this is why I'm not in politics, I could not have maintained the level when she was speaking and they spoke to her the way they did. I would have flipped tables. I'm sorry. I would hold my earrings, flip tables.
I hold my baby.
Yeah, I could not. I was very impressed. I was like, welcome back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I was thinking about Buddy. That was Representative Seffer. That's the right use of the word fascism. She knows the word fascism. And I love her for it.
Yeah.
But it's weird to think that Montana's voters are more progressive than Florida's voters.
Than all the red states.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing to see that. But you know, I'm very thankful because that's the 6 steps forward that we're going to be able to take, you know.
And she's young and she's got a long future.
Absolutely.
Kudos.
So yeah.
Yes. Well, that is today's news for the LGBTQ community, one of the world's first and only daily LGBTQ evening news show. If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Julio Capo, and on behalf of these incredible LGBTQ reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, that includes Gregg Shapiro, Danny Gallegos, Vaughn Biggs, and Buddy Frey. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ world, we wish you a good night.
Night.